This is Maxine Doogan with the KPFA Labor Collective, and I am speaking with Daisy Anarchy, who is with Sex Workers Organized for Labor, Human, and Civil Rights. And we're talking today about labor racketeering in the San Francisco dance clubs, that the San Francisco dance clubs have working conditions that are in violation of wage and hour labor laws and also criminal laws, the coerced prostitution. So I know, Daisy, that you are, and many of us are, against the criminalization of prostitution.
Yes, I believe in the complete decriminalization of adult consensual prostitution. I do not think that women or men engaging in consensual sex for money, just because it's for money, should be arrested and thrown in jail and suffer the violence that happens quite often in arrests, and especially happens in arrests of prostitute women. I don't think they should have to suffer the violence of incarceration. And it's completely outrageous to me that we have, consenting adults who behind closed doors are exchanging money for sex acts that are being thrown in jail. Meanwhile, in the dance clubs, we have dancers who just want to work as dancers who are being coerced into prostitution by the dance club owners via illegal private booze and illegal private rooms and these illegal stage fees. Sometimes they call them commissions. Sometimes they put a little box on the door of the private booth and tell the girls they have to put $120 into that box by the end of the night. And then they say, oh, we're not taking a stage fee. So and I really believe that the criminalization of prostitution leads to this coercion of prostitution in the dance clubs, because now the police and the politicians, whether it's the district attorneys, our ex-mayor Willie Brown, when things got really bad in the city in the dance clubs, it was as soon as Terrence Hallinan and Willie Brown came into power. And because Willie Brown used to be the private attorney for one of the biggest dance club owners, Sam Conte, Terrence Hallinan was old friends with the Mitchell brothers. Again, now he's their attorney. And so these are the things that led to this appalling condition, which is why we're trying to organize. The dancers are trying to unionize and organize because, the workers only have each other.
That's right. So it sounds like we actually have state-sponsored prostitution in San Francisco via the city officials of San Francisco. It's interesting to me that the FBI defines labor racketeering as the domination, manipulation, and the control of a labor movement which affects related businesses and industries. This domination may result in the denial of workers' rights and sometimes inflicts economic loss on the workers, the business, the industry as a whole.
And the funny thing about it's not funny, it's tragic, that what's going on in San Francisco is that the Federal Bureau of Investigation is fully aware of the coerced prostitution that's going on in the dance clubs. They're fully aware that the dance club owners are in violation of tax laws, that are committing major tax evasion by misclassifying their dancers as independent contractors and making the dancers pay them rather than charging the dancers. The FBI in San Francisco is very interested in, are there trafficked women in the sex industry? Are there trafficked women in the dance clubs? I have worked in San Francisco's dance clubs, not to date myself, but, for over 20 years. And I never met a woman that was trafficked against her will in the dance clubs. And this is not to say that there aren't people all over the world that are trafficked against their will into various occupations. But right now in the United States, all this federal money is going into looking at, are there trafficked sex slaves, when actually prostitution has been a tool of immigration worldwide for hundreds of years. And the criminalization of prostitution only makes women's working conditions worse and makes it harder for women to step forward if they have been trafficked against their will. There is not a problem in San Francisco strip clubs of women being trafficked against their will. There's not a trafficking problem in the San Francisco strip clubs. There's a problem with labor violations and labor racketeering by the dance club owners in conjunction with politicians. And there's a problem with coerced prostitution. And the FBI is fully aware of this. And I believe that, because Kevin Ryan, that perhaps one of the reasons that nothing is happening is because, a friend of Terrence Hallinan, who's a friend of the dance club owners, currently their attorney, Kevin Ryan, is the prosecuting attorney in San Francisco.
I am a union woman. brave as I can be. I do not like the bosses, and the bosses don't like me. Join the NMU, join the NMU. Join the NMU, oh, join the NMU. I was raised in old Kentucky, Kentucky, born and bred. When I joined the NMU, well, they called me a Russian Red. Join the NMU, oh, join the NMU.
And this has been Maxine Doogan with the KPFA Labor Collective. I'm with the Sex Workers Organized for Labor, Human and Civil Rights leader, founder, Daisy Anarchy. And this has been our KPFA Labor Collective interview with Daisy. Mehmet Bayram has been our engineer today. Thank you for joining us on KPFA. You can reach us at our email address through the kpfa.org website. Thank you for joining us.
These is the worst times that I have ever saw. You get shot down by gun thugs, you get framed up by the law. Join the NMU, oh, join the NMU. Join the NMU, join the NMU. Our bosses ride fine horses and we walk in the mud. Their banner is a $sign and ours is striped with blood. Join the NMU, oh, join the NMU. Join the NMU, join the NMU. If you want to join a union as strong as it can be, join the dear old NMU and come along with me. Join the NMU, oh, join the NMU. Join the NMU right now, join the NMU.